What's going on? SummitGuide Ninja here, your favorite enemy ninja here on YouTube, and we have another video on the summit for Crew Motorfest. And as you all know, I make these usually every week. I skipped last week because it didn't really help, but this week we do have it, and it's a little bit late. I recorded this on Thursday, but I'm finally uploading it here on Sunday. Hopefully it does help you. You still have 2 more days left to get a better score. And with that being said, let's just get into it. So before we start, I quickly want to say, if this video helps you out, please, for me, drop a like. It lets me know that these videos still are helping people out, and it gives me a little bit more motivation to make these videos. As last week I didn't make it because I didn't think it was gonna help, but regardless, here we are. And yeah, we're gonna, as always, we're gonna start off with the feats, and then we're gonna get into the races. And just a heads up, also I do have the pro tunings or pro settings in front of the races. So for a majority of these, I think there's 3 races that I use the GTR Nismo or the GT3. So that one is going to be the first race, and if you're going to look for those tunings, it's going to be at the very beginning, during the first race, after I'm done with these feats, of course. But that being said, let's just get into it. And yeah, so first off, the first thing I'm going to say is I already have these tuned. Most of these vehicles I basically already have tuned. So if you guys want to see more vehicle tunings and you just want to see solo, I will do that. I probably will upload one tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, just gonna really get into it. And of course, for my feed car, I always go with this one, the Mini Coupe. It's the racing edition, or the checkered edition, I should say, which I did win in one of the summits, or I think it was in the main stage at one point. At least I think it was like 2 months ago. Anyways, this is my feed car. You can choose whatever you want. I'd recommend race or hypercar, but whatever gets you moving the fastest. Of course, you want to run score breaker parts, because they will help you out. And here is the GTR Nismo GT3, sorry. And those are my pro tunings. Slow it down if you need to. Of course, there's settings on YouTube. You can slow it down if you need to. And with that being said, let's just get into it. This is going to be my full lap. Again, this video is going to be long. If you need a switch, if you need to skip ahead or anything, you can do so. Of course, the reason I'm doing it this time is because I noticed while playing manual, again, I'm still new at this, the first lap, usually you want to be lower gears. It's not until like when you come around the second laps, or even third, that you can get away with being in higher gears around the turns. But I noticed that there's a huge difference from starting the race and from ending it, or at least during the race further on. There's not too much I can really say. I want to keep talking about these cars, but there's not much to explain. GT3 Nismo is really great at handling. It is a little bit understeery at first. I felt like it was not too much, but yeah, I can definitely drive this better. I don't think this was my best run, but it is one of the higher scores that I got, so yeah, just keep that in mind. And later on, we do have one of the I think it was called the Firebird. Damn, I'm probably just gonna come back and talk about it, because talking about it now it's a little too early. But next we do have the Mazda MX-5, and I will have the tunings in the front of that race. And then we're gonna go back to the Nismo, which again, settings were in front of this race, this particular race. Then we're gonna go into the C63 touring car for the AMG, followed by the Firebird. Yeah, it's gonna be called the Firebird, and then we're gonna finish it off with the Nismo GT3 again. With that being said, I'm gonna come back when we get to those vehicles and explain a little bit more. So enjoy. So if you did see my tunings at the beginning, you notice that I have way more grip in the back. So I lowered the air force at the front of the car too, so it can help me with the turning. And when you reach higher speeds, essentially it keeps all that weight off of the front end of the car, which essentially is, since I have it in negative camber, it basically just helps me with turning. So I'll keep the speed here on these turns, and I don't have to gear shift down. For the most part, it did change a little bit. This is like the first time that I changed it, because I was running more grip at the front, and I lowered the grip down in the back by 2. You can get away with that way too. It makes it so fucking satisfying with drifts around these turns. If you want to go about it that way, you will have all that speed and momentum around the turns, and it will handle perfectly. But and some of these turns, or some of these straightaways, they're so fucking long that I wouldn't recommend it too much. Again, you can get away with it if you have the NOS, if you have the build for it, if you're running stuff like Resourceful, where you regain NOS from braking, or even drifting if you decide to drift it, which it would help if you do that, if you change the settings that way. And again, just change the grip on the tires. So that's it. You can get away with it, and it will, like, I got a pretty decent score. Like, me changing the grip tires from the front to the back, it essentially just made me go faster by like maybe 2 seconds, maybe 1 second, 3 seconds at most. And even that makes a little bit, when it comes to the summits, every second counts, and you know, it'll put you up even higher in the leaderboards if you want to go for the platinum, or you know, the best rewards. So yeah, that's the best advice I can really give you. As you can see, it does really handle well. Again, you want to pay attention to my lines, and also what gear I'm taking these turns at. Again, I am a manual. You don't necessarily have to focus on it if you're playing automatic. I just started playing manual because I thought it would be more fun, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. With that being said, I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of this lap and the next one, and I'll come back. So for this race, I would say just pay attention to that turn I just took in the rear, because that one will mess you up. Maybe it might not mess you up quite as much if you're playing automatic, but it does affect you. I noticed when you're playing manual. This turn also, the way I have it built right now, I kind of just stuck with the normal build that I had. I didn't change anything. I probably could have went with more grip. You can probably get away with even getting further, like getting a way better score, or possibly not even stopping at the pit stop to fix your wheels if you run iron grip, which is one of the affixes for the vehicles. If you have iron grip, if you want to make your own thing, you know, you can go ahead and do that. You can probably get a better score. I didn't go with it particularly because I already had a pretty decent car build. I didn't want to change things up and, you know, just ruin the build for the other races, because some of the other races didn't necessarily require the iron grip like this one. I do believe there's only 2 races on this summit, which you know, it does show the tire wear, as you can see up top, and that's not too much of an issue for me. But regardless, if you do lose tire grip, you will mess up a little bit. But the way I have some of these cars tuned, I kind of like I basically have control even when it slips. And if you wanna, I'll just go over it real quick. So anyways, if you start slipping out, if you are practicing in one of these races by yourself, some of these where you have to pit like this, like in the animation that you're seeing right now, the way I would suggest helping you when you're losing tire grip is you want to change the ARB. So the ARB is basically how much the car overturns or underturns, regardless of whether it's the front or the back or the rear. So you can change it, and essentially you want to, if it's like slipping out, like for example, maybe some cars back is the one that's slipping out a lot, but not necessarily the front. So you obviously go into the rear in the ARB settings and you change it so that it understeers, and essentially it's not going to spin out quite as much. It will spin out a little bit, but it's going to be more manageable. And of course you can also change around some of the tire pressure, or the tire grip I should say, and that'll also help you out with maintaining your vehicle on the road. And that being said, that's the best that I can give you and the advice if you're having some of those issues. But regardless, we're gonna come back and I'll talk about the next vehicle. Okay, here we got the C63 touring car, which is Mercedes AMG, and again, you're gonna see some of my stats here. Yeah, I just made the car really stiff because I needed to. It's a really low car, so you don't necessarily need some of that how would you say, the spring softness. You don't need the softness since it's a low car. I would suggest this if you have a low car in this game. I would suggest mainly going for stiffer. But of course it depends on the car. This one is a really stiff car to begin with. It's I don't know why making it stiffer just helps. It makes the handling way better. For some reason, when I was struggling a lot when this one was in the summit like 2-3 weeks ago. But yeah, I finally found the tunings for it. Of course, we lowered the front grip again because we don't need so much speed around these corners, but it does maintain some of that grip. Like it hugs the road better if you have negative camber. So we went with that. We went with -13, and we also lowered some of the front tire pressure, or I keep saying pressure, but some of the tire grip by -2. Again, because we don't need that much grip. And if you have too much grip, you're gonna end up not being able to turn too much, especially with this vehicle. But yeah, there's not too much to talk about. This is honestly just the best car to run if you have this vehicle. It's really low to the ground. It hugs. It has so much lateral G. Is that what it's called in this game? I forgot what it was called. I think that's what it was called. Anyways, yeah, this is the car I went with, and hopefully, if you have this vehicle, it will help you out in the summit. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna come back for the final car that I'm going to talk about in this race, which should be the next one, and if not, we're just going to see. Anyways, enjoy. Okay, here we got the Corvette C3 Fire Edition, and again, these are my pro tunings for the vehicle, or the pro settings. Yeah, this car was such a fucking hassle as well. This car in particular, I actually mastered it during one of the summits, which was from the previous race. The race that we did before this one, which was the Mercedes AMG vehicle. That's actually one of the best fucking tracks that you can learn your vehicles on, especially with this one, because this one I actually learned it on that track, or I tuned it while I was in that previous track, and yeah, I was like, the way I had this car tuned, it was tuned to perfection. Like, you can drift with this vehicle, and it's just fucking phenomenal. I mean, I don't think you can drift. I wouldn't necessarily drift on this track, but on that other one where it has that really wide turn, you're able to drift it. You can drift it. I'm not gonna say you can't. It's a little bit harder since I'm playing on manual, which is probably why I said you shouldn't really drift. But once I master drifting while driving manual, it's gonna be a whole shit ton of fun. But yeah, you can drift this car if you're playing automatic, and I just don't go overboard. You know, I just tap it when you're coming around the turns. You don't necessarily have to like hold the fucking e-brake. That's something that I've noticed when I'm playing the grand races. A lot of people just hold the e-brake or just hold the brake itself, and you just mess yourselves up. I see people like literally making a whole 180 or, you know, like a 7-degree turn. I should say 90-degree turn, and they just throw themselves off. So that's the only advice I can really give. But this vehicle is really great at handling. Honestly, in this last turn, you can probably keep it in the 4th gear, and you can just use your brake, and it'll literally drift around that corner for you. And then you want to drop it down into 3rd gear. If you're driving on manual, you will get away with it. Just keep it in 3rd gear. If you go any lower, you will kind of like I was gonna say stall the vehicle, but you can't really stall vehicles in this game. But in real life, you would end up stalling it. So just keep that in mind for that last turn, and when you're ending the lap. So yeah, you want to keep it in 4th gear. Make that turn. Obviously, brake. You don't have to use the e-brake if you don't want to. You can. Preferably, I would say just hold the brake. And yeah, and I'll come back when that part comes, because maybe you might have missed it and you might not know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna wait until that part comes again, and I'm gonna tell you.
Your tires are getting worn out.
At this point in the race, you do want to maintain your vehicle as best as you can. You will probably end up slipping out a little bit if you don't. But right here, this is the part I'm talking about. I'm just hitting the brake. I'm still in 4th gear, and look at that. It does it by itself. Drop down to 3rd gear. You're able to still punch it. And yeah, right here I did lose a little bit of grip. I did lose grip, so I kind of just hit the wall there. but you don't have to worry about it. It was a little tap. It wasn't too much. It didn't slow me down too much. And here we go. We're gonna go for the last lap. And yeah, with that being said, this is probably gonna be the last time I come back. If not, I'm probably gonna come back for the outro. But I hope you guys did enjoy this summit. And with that being said, I hope you guys do drop a like and follow. Yeah, I'll come back later. Alright guys, that's gonna be the end. We're coming up here on the end is the final lap. And with that being said, if these summit videos do be helping you, and this one you do want to, I just want to say that I did drift right there around that corner. That will probably be the best way of slowing down in the right gear if you're in a manual. Just quickly saying that. But yeah, this is gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys do enjoyed it. If this helps you, as always, please drop a like. It helps me know that these videos are actually getting out there and helping you guys with the summits, helping you guys with pro tunings. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, Amaterasu Ninja, same name as this channel, just Amaterasu Ninja. It's easier if you search it lowercase. Keep that in mind, it's in lowercase. If you search it up, you will find me. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful fucking day. As always, I'll see you on the next one. And deuces.